from Cichy Stadium in Fargo, North Dakota. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jed Thomas, alongside of my partner, Braden Altringer, as we get set for North Dakota high school football action as the Shanley Deacons get ready to take on the Grafton Spoilers. Well, folks, it's been a long layoff, long time since we brought to you our last football game, but we are back with a great matchup here between the Deacons and the Spoilers. Shanley's first home game of the season. A lot of excitement in the air. Everybody's ready to go. For now, folks, though, I'm going to have to toss it to the PA announcer, but don't go anywhere, because in just a few minutes, we're going to be bringing football action back to you.
Deacon football players on the field tonight. 4th grade Chargers, 5th and 6th grade Bobcats and Irish. They'll be standing with the Shanley Deacon team during pregame, and they will showcase their talents at halftime, something you don't want to miss. At this time, we ask that you please rise as Father Charles LaCroix leads us in prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Thanks and praise be to you, God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has bestowed on us in Christ every spiritual blessing in the heavens. We thank you for the great blessing of being gathered together here tonight for this contest. We ask you, as always, to be with us and watch over, bless us, keep the players free from injury and harm, allow them to play to the best of their ability, reward them for their efforts tonight. May everything that we do here give you great honor tonight, and when the evening is complete, allow us to reach our homeward destinations in safety. We pray all this in the name of your Son, Jesus, by the power of your Holy Spirit. You are God forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please remain standing, remove all headwear, and place your hand over your heart as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by the Shanley High School Pep Band.
Don't go anywhere, folks. High school football action is next after a brief word from our sponsors.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Beyond Boundaries Therapy Services, Butler Machinery, Ed's Marine, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Hurley's Religious Goods, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Network Center, Northern Improvement, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford, Shields, Taxman, TCI Insurance, and Wolf Steel Construction.
Welcome back to North Dakota High School football action here on Shanley TV. I'm Jed Thomas, of course joined by Braden Altringer as we are getting set for our first football broadcast of the year, Shanley's first home game of the season. And Braden, I cannot think of a better matchup to have here to kick things off than the Shanley Deacons versus the Grafton Spoilers. A storied AA rivalry kicking things off here tonight. I think it's going to be a fun one. How about you?
Yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere here tonight. It's going to be a good game between two good football teams.
No doubt about it. Grafton now starting off the season on a bit of a rough note, starting off 0-1 to Bismarck St. Mary's. They got blanked 41-0 at home. Obviously not the way you want to start things off, but no doubt they're going to come out swinging here after not getting off to that ideal start. Shanley, meanwhile, out in Jamestown, their first game of the year, they got by the skin of their teeth, ended up winning, I believe it was 27-26 was the final in that one, so just a 1-point victory, and Jamestown almost put together a game-winning drive at the end there. So the Deacons very well could have been 0-1. They certainly know to take no game for granted. Given those conditions, Braden, I think that should make for a pretty fun clash on the field here tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shanley Deacons are going to have to pass the ball. Grafton's going to be a little slower.
No doubt about it. You know, Grafton going up against St. Mary's, not a team necessarily known for their passing. They like to do a lot of the power run, then mix in the pass when you're not expecting it. So Grafton, they really need to do their homework for this game. I think they've been doing that, though, for this week, I'm sure. And I think a lot of teams in AA this season are a little more accustomed to that air raid attack of the Shanley Deacons. You know, last year it was pretty new. AA hadn't seen a lot of passing like Shanley had. This year, though, I think we're going to see teams come out a bit more prepared for that. I also think Grafton will be well prepared as they've got a lot of seniors at those skill positions. You know, speaking of those specific players, Braden, who are some of those names that you think we're going to be calling a lot here tonight? Who are your players to watch for this game?
First off, for the Shanley Deacons, you got to go with Haley Buckles, the UND football commit. He had a huge year last year, and I think he's going to do bigger things this year. Next, you got to go with Caden Kuhnman, the returning quarterback. He's ready to go after that collarbone injury. And lastly, Noah Johnson, coming off fresh. He's new this year, and I think he's going to be a great player to watch. On the other side for Grafton, their quarterback, Brandon Albright. He's a big guy, 6'7". It's going to be a great game.
Absolutely. Dalton Albright there, like you said, big guy, 6'7". He can run the ball and throw the ball. Grafton's passing offense is something that they've worked on the last couple years. I think we might see a bit more of it in this game than we've seen in years past when Shanley's played them. Looking at a couple of those names you talked about, we can start off with Haley Buckles. How about the game he had last week against Jamestown? 3 catches, and I think he was over 200 all-purpose yards in that game on only 3 receptions, which is a pretty crazy stat.
Yeah, it's impressive. When you're putting up those numbers, you're doing good things for your team. You're helping your team win ball games.
And Haley Buckles can have an impact really all over the field. We've seen that before. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. Excellent defender as well. Maybe his best asset is his ability to play corner. Dalton Albright is going to have to watch Buckles' side of the field. And, Braden, here's something that's interesting to note right now. They're reading off the starters for Shanley, and out there is Leo Hansen, the junior. Looks like he's going to be getting his first varsity start on the line. Shanley will be on offense first, so he's going to be starting on that O-line. What do you think of Leo Hansen in their first varsity start here?
I'm excited to watch. He's going to have a lot of nerves, but he just has to keep cool, calm, and collective, and he'll have a great game.
And, the thing that I always hear about Leo Hansen, he's not the biggest guy out there, especially for a lineman. He comes in at only 5'7", 175, but you will not find a guy who tries harder than Leo. I know you played on the team with him. I think you can attest to that.
Yeah, he has a great work ethic. He's never going to give up.
No doubt about that. So certainly that's something that appeals to coaches. Leo Hansen's going to go all out. Very excited to see him out there. I think he'll be a good injection of energy into that Shanley O-line. And let's get into that battle of the trenches. Let's talk about that, because I think that's where Shanley can find their biggest edge here tonight. They've got a big offensive line and defensive line for that matter. They're big. They've got good experience. They're well coached, well conditioned. Grafton graduated a lot off their line from last year, and you look up and down that roster, you're seeing a lot of guys check in that 5'8", 5'9" range, and a lot of guys dipping below that 200-pound mark, so they're not the biggest line. A big part of that, though, is they're pretty young. How big of an impact do you think that will have, the fact that they're a younger, smaller line going up against Shanley's line, which I'd say is one of their strengths?
Oh, for sure. It's going to help Shanley in a huge way. They got 3 returning starters, which is going to boost their confidence. And if Shanley wants to win this game, they're going to have to win those battles in that trench right away.
Yeah, and I think, at least my thoughts would be that Shanley will probably be winning that battle. The thing to note, though, is what Grafton lacks on the line, I think they more than make up for in those skill position spots. Again, mostly seniors populating those skill positions, some guys whose names we've become familiar with over the years. But, hey, you can do all the analysis you want, but here's kickoff. We'll finally see what these two teams have. Again, Grafton 0-1, Shanley 1-0, and you can't see it on your screen right now. A little bit of delay as Coach Sarge, as they call him, is prepping his special teams right now. Special teams, of course, being his forte. Big favorite of the Shanley players, Braden, wouldn't you say?
Yes, he's a big contributor to the Shanley football team.
Guy knows special teams like the back of his hand, and we've seen that the last few years. Special teams is one of those areas that Shanley's always been pretty strong in. You can look to alumni Jake Reinhold's former kicker, now kicking for North Dakota State. And so, Grafton ready to kick this one away to kick off the football season here on Shanley TV. Second game of the year for both these squads. Let's see what they've got as this kick is away and our season has begun. Machenbacher will field that one at about the 30-yard line, trying to find a seam up the right side, and nothing's there as he's swallowed up, and the Deacons will go to work at the 32. So right off the bat, excellent field position there for Shanley.
Yes, it's a great football position start. They're really going to try to attack, I think, right away in the air.
Grafton, you could tell they're trying not to put that ball too deep downfield. They clearly were looking for the squib there. Definitely aware of the speed that Shanley has. They don't want to risk a big return to start things off. All right, so getting our first look here at these two teams in action. It's doubles formation for the Deacons. Caden Kuhneman is in at quarterback. Cade Busick flanking him to his left at running back. They'll start with a handoff to Busick, who right away will go for a first down. About an 11-yard run there for Busick, and a great way to start this game off for the Deacons. Get a look on the replay here. Now, Busick is a name you may know as a quarterback for the Deacons. Kuhneman was hurt last year. Busick went in to replace him and had an excellent year, but now it's Kuhneman at quarterback and Busick at running back as he goes for a gain of about 3 there. Busick's main asset as a quarterback were his legs. Shanley struggled to find a way to get both those guys out on the field at once. Do you think this is the long-term solution, Braden?
I think it is, because you're going to be able to get some trickery out there, but also be able to hand it off to Cade.
Yeah, utilizing the two best assets of your quarterbacks there, Kuhneman's arm and Busick's legs. It's trips left flank or right as Buckles will take the screen. Good block laid by Hoffer. Buckles with the spin move. Little stutter step, and he's forward for a great gain and a first down all the way into Grafton territory. And the Shanley offense is cooking with this hurry up right now. And now we've got a whistle and a stoppage in play as we've got an injured spoiler right off the bat. And I believe that is number 23, Riley Ide. And that would be a tough loss there for Grafton, as Ide is their starting fullback and one of their starting linebackers. Braden, while we have a break, though, I think we got to talk about that hurry-up offense that Shanley's running right now. It's new this year. We heard a lot about it in the offseason. They were implementing this whole new hurry-up playbook. I think this hurry-up offense is going to give a lot of double-A teams problems. I think it's really going to keep them on their toes. I think they're going to have trouble keeping up from a conditioning standpoint. What would you have to say about it?
I definitely agree with that. Shanley's a really well-conditioned team, and that goes to Coach Carlquist. He does a fantastic job with Shanley athletes.
And yeah, they've really trained, they've really slimmed down, tried to make sure they're in the best shape possible to run such a demanding offense. And you can see when they're running it correctly, it can really give opponents fits. And it's a good sign here for Grafton as Riley Ide is walking off under his own power, but he's walking very gingerly with what appears to be a lower body injury. And so we'll hope for his sake and for Grafton's sake that he can return, as again, that'd be a tough loss, especially so early in this game. And for those of you who tuned in last season, you may notice one new thing on this football broadcast. You may notice for the first time we've got a clock for our football games. You can see that along with a play clock, 2 features here that we are very happy to be bringing to you thanks to some generous donations. And you can see now, I think we're having some problems with the clock as I mentioned that. It looks like they cannot get it to move right now, so we're happy to be bringing a clock to you, and hey, you can see for yourselves at home that they're having some problems with it, as now we've got the correct time. It's 12-minute quarters. They were running 15-minute quarters like you see in the NFL. I got to be honest, Braden, I didn't even catch that. I'm so used to the 15-minute quarters.
I agree. I did not see that at all.
But now they got the correct times out there. Shanley's going back to work after that delay. Kuhneman pressure from behind, and that ball's going to be picked off. A huge swing in momentum as that ball's grabbed out of the air. An errant pass and an interception caught, that time by El Sarif. Let's see. Kuhneman's got pressure from behind here, Braden, and he lets that one go, I think, intended for Buckles.
I think so, too. Grafton's defensive line really got to him quick there.
And that's a real tough break for Shanley. It appeared to be underthrown, and I have to imagine that that's the result of the pressure that was being put on from behind.
Yes, it definitely was.
And so Grafton with a huge opportunity now. They just lost a starter to injury. Shanley was marching down the field, and then after that delay, they get the interception, and they might have just turned this momentum all the way around. Let's see what they can do. So Albright is under center. There's a man in motion. It's El Sarif, and right off the bat, we've got a flag. I think we're going to get a false start here. And that is the signal. So Grafton has the momentum right now, but that false start really isn't going to help, as that's going to back them up to a 1st and 15.
5-yard penalty against Spoilers. It'll be first down and 15 from the 21.
You saw El Sarif that time going in motion, and early in the season when you've got plays like that, you've got men in motion, it's not too uncommon to see teams get caught with a false start or an illegal motion or something along those lines, as they don't quite have the playbook nailed down necessarily, or they don't have all those rules memorized by heart quite yet. So Grafton's going to try again, same formation. The big man Albright under center. It's a screen pass to Sarif. He had to scoop it up. It was low to the ground, and Sarif's able to get out for a gain of 6, back to about the original line of scrimmage. It's a good start there for Grafton, Braden. Getting your passing game going early with a little screen pass. I like the call. You're utilizing those skill positions like I talked about. Going to find your best players and use them to your advantage.
Yeah, I think you really got to get the ball out wide first, and that running game can open up because the secondary for Shanley will be out wide.
Absolutely. It gives you more space, tires some guys out, and then you can start to open up those holes. So we got 2 men out to the right, 1 out to the left. Single back, and it's now going to be a pitch here. Reyes trying to find some space up the right side. Reyes turning upfield. He lowers the shoulder and puts Hoffer down, and that'll set up Grafton with a 3rd and about 3. And so a nice little run there for Reyes. Dangerous. Thought they might get him there along the out-of-bounds line, but he was able to turn that one upfield for a gain.
And Jed, one thing you'll notice about this Shanley defense, they get all 11 players to the ball, no matter what's happened. If they're on the ground, they'll get up and sprint to the ball.
Absolutely. Very athletic and very capable of getting across the field in a short amount of time. This will be interesting to see what they do here. 3rd and short situation, about 2 yards to go. We'll see if they try it up the middle. No, they're going to go for the play-action pass. Rolling out. Albright lets one go, and it's going to be picked. Clark has it. He's moving up the right side, and he'll be brought down by his own man. And Braden, I hate to say it, but you could see that one coming.
Yes, you could. Shanley got really good pressure with, I think, getting 4 players. Joe Cava, the first one there.
And you see Albright on the rollout here, and in high school especially, these are so tough because you got to get your feet set. Albright, he's got to square his shoulders up to his receiver. You got to turn your full body and get that ball off. Instead, he's just kind of throwing that one from the side, not turning towards the receiver. And, part of that's just inexperience with those rollout type of plays. That's an unfortunate break for Grafton, but a great read by Andy Clark and the Shanley defense. Kuhneman fakes the handoff on the QB keeper, making men miss, still on his feet and then brought down. Good for a gain of about 1 or 2 there. Made some men miss, got some good yardage, but it was horizontal yardage, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
Kuhneman, no doubt, though, going to try to get revenge for that interception he threw. He knows he caught a break there with Grafton throwing an interception of their own, so now they'll go with the screen pass, and Buckles is shut down there. Haley Buckles had barely any time to even get a hold of that ball.
Yeah, Matthew Suda of Grafton got a really nice job getting around Talon and making the tackle.
And so the Grafton defense looking stronger here on this possession than the last time that Shanley offense was out there. So now it's doubles formation for the Deacons on a 3rd and about 9, and it'll be Kuhneman on the QB keeper. Not enough. but I have a feeling they're going to go for this one, Braden.
I do agree. Mattern's play calling is a go for it if you're inside the 30-ish.
Rarely kicks the field goals in that situation. 4th and 5, he knows he's got a very capable offense, not to mention if you turn it over, not very good field position for the spoilers. So trips right, flanker left. Kuhneman in shotgun. Busick out there to his left. Kuhneman with the pump fake to Buckles. Wide open man in the end zone, and Hoffer's got it for the touchdown. A dime from Kuhneman and some redemption for the Shanley offense.
And you got to give all the credit to Caden Kuhneman there with the pump fake. Brought the secondary in. Talon Hoffer was able to escape and get the touchdown.
And the play calling as well, because I'm guessing that was a designed fake screen there. They ran the screen twice. Grafton was watching for it, and Hoffer does a great job getting open there. He's well behind the secondary. That's a tough situation there for the spoilers as they leave a man wide open. Never want to do that in the red zone. Kochman running onto the field there. And now Shanley will get set for the extra point try. Matt Machenbacher to kick this one away. It is up, and it is good. So it's a 7-0 lead for the Deacons, but it did not come easy. A little adversity there. Turnovers by both teams. In the end, though, it's Shanley up 7-0. Braden, your thoughts on the opening couple minutes of this game? Certainly been action-packed.
Action-packed for sure. It was good to see Caden Kuhneman come out with a little bit of motivation after throwing that interception. He really bounced back and got that touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's got to be good for his confidence, especially when you consider, the quarterback battle that's been going on. That just adds so much pressure, I think, to your quarterbacks because they know that every mistake is going to be amplified times 2, because now not only is it impacting if you'll win the game or not, but it's also impacting, whether you're going to keep your job or not, and that's a really tough position to be in. On the flip side of that, though, it's pretty nice if you're Troy Mattern because you know that if you've got one quarterback who's struggling, you can just plug another one in there. So there's a lot of dimensions to watch with that storyline this season. It really impacts the game in a lot more ways than you think.
Yeah, Shanley's really fortunate to have that 2 quarterback because they can either get a little trickery, run it, pass it. Otherwise, they can just sit back, pass the ball with Caden Kuhneman.
Yeah, and so you see 7-0 here, like I said, in favor of Shanley. Grafton looked good on offense until that 3rd down try. Their first 2 plays looked very strong. They were well executed, good play calls, and then unfortunately Albright on the rollout, facing some serious pressure, turned it over. So we'll get another look here as Machenbacher kicks it off for the Deacons. Deep kick, Suda fields it. And now we'll try and get some good yardage here. Moving up the right side, then cutting back in. And not a great return for Grafton as he'll be brought down around the 17-yard line. 8:33 left to go in this first quarter. Very back and forth so far as Grafton will now look to even this up. Braden, if you're Grafton right now, what are you trying to do after a disappointing first offensive possession? What's your strategy here?
I think you got to come out with a little bit of fury. You got to get a couple yards every play. If you're not getting a couple yards, you won't get that first down.
And it wouldn't shock me if we saw a run play right off the bat here, maybe something a little simpler. Although, as I say that, they've got a lot of motion going on. It's trips left now as Albright will fake the handoff, pressure in his face. It's a screen over to Reyes. Reyes trying to cut up the middle of the field, and he'll get 2 or 3 yards there. So it's something. It's good to have positive yards there on that first play.
Yeah, I think that was a great play call. Just getting a little confidence back to your quarterback after throwing that interception.
2nd down now, and you can see the difference in offensive styles here. Shanley, an air raid offense running hurry up, a bit of a flashier style of football. Grafton, more classic style, much slower pace, more of a ground and pound type of football game that they play. So it's differing philosophies, and it'll be interesting to see how these 2 teams play off each other in that regard. I formation, man in motion is El Sarif. It's going to be a handoff right up the gut to Reyes, and he will be wrapped up for nothing on that handoff. And Braden, that's not stunning. We haven't seen him try much up the middle, and I think there's a reason why.
Yeah, the Shanley's defensive line is very good. They have a couple of returning starters, which is huge for them.
And none perhaps more important than Joe Cava, the junior defensive lineman, just causes all sorts of headaches for opposing offenses. And we talked about how that offensive line for Grafton is, you don't want to say a weakness, but it's certainly inexperienced, and that's an area that they're going to have to work on this season. And so I think they're going to try to avoid those runs at least right up the gut like we saw. So 3rd and about 6. It's a screen pass on the far side. It looks like first down yardage for El Sarif. I think the ball popped out, though. It looked like he had a very loose hold of it. It does appear to have stayed in spoiler possession, but boy, El Sarif running dangerous that time. That ball was bobbling around.
Yeah, that was, but I got to give it to the Grafton receivers. They had 2 really good blocks there, which allowed them to get that first down.
Yeah, excellent blocking, and that's the second time we've seen him do that on a screen pass. So Grafton, I've been really impressed with just their execution. They're playing very mistake-free. Obviously, the 1 interception, there's been some pressure, but other than that, their skill position guys, I've talked about time and time again, you can see the experience because they know exactly what they're doing out there. So it's that same formation for Grafton as they'll try it up the gut once again. Reyes is wrapped up, and Reyes is just having no luck up the middle right now. A man shaken up out there for the Spoilers. Getting up slowly that time. It was Espinoza, but he does appear to be back on his feet. .6:21 remaining in the first quarter. And boy, that time ticks away a lot faster when Grafton's on offense.
It for sure does. You can tell Shanley, they really get it up tempo, so the clock is just going slower and slower, it seems like.
So trips right this time. Reyes again, the single back. They'll pitch it out. This play sniffed out from the beginning. Fredericks was there along with Noah Johnson. They shut that one down immediately.
Yeah, Fredericks did a really good job getting off his block, getting an open field tackle.
Frederick's not your prototypical linebacker size-wise. He's about 5'11", 170, so pretty skinny guy, but what he does have is speed, and lots of it, and you could see at that time he just got to that ball really fast. He used his high football IQ as well. He's very good at play recognition, and Fredericks is so good at shutting down those outside runs. The Deacons really don't have to worry about him on his side of the field. You saw it that time. Also, Noah Johnson, like I said, was in there to clean it up. He gets a lot of tackles for Shanley, at least in that Jamestown game. He was all over the place. So a big 3rd down attempt, about 3rd and 8. Albright has time, but he's got to do something with it. Pressure coming, Busick's on him. A referee is down behind the play, and El Sarif was there. A great throw by Albright, but an even better defensive play made that time. Someone got a hand on it. It was Andy Clark. What a play by Clark.
Yeah, it was a really good play. He read the route, he stayed with him, and got the ball knocked down.
And look at this replay. So Albright had lots of time, and then the Shanley defense got there. A nice block thrown in the backfield by Reyes. Albright, beautiful job extending the play. And Andy Clark, not much more you can say other than just good defense.
Yeah, you can't really say much more.
And a really good job on those broken plays. As a D-back, you can often lose your receiver as things start to get kind of crazy out there. Clark, the senior, showing off his experience as this punt barely gets away, getting in there and staying with his man. So it's Clark who will field this punt, escapes the first tackle and the second, continuing to break through, still not going down, and finally brought down at the 48-yard line. There's some heart from Andy Clark.
Yeah, showed a couple moves there, getting around a couple defenders.
Lopez on the stop for the Spoilers.
And folks, in an update from AA play with 8:09 left to go in the first quarter, it is 6-0 Central Cass over Devils Lake. And that's a huge matchup to watch because those are 2 teams that are expected to be very competitive in AA. They both won their first game of the year. So we'll try to keep you updated on that one. Should give us a good idea of who the real players are this year in AA. All right, so the Shanley offense back out there. Cole Fredericks is now in at running back as Busick takes a seat. He also plays defensive end. You saw him on pursuit there of Albright, so likely getting a breather. Buckles was the fake on the jet sweep. Kuhneman with a lot of space on the keeper, all the way just about to the first down marker. And they like to do that fake jet sweep with Buckles because teams are very keenly aware of his speed and his ability to hurt you on those types of plays. It gives Kuhneman a lot of space to get good yardage. So, 2 men out to the right, 1 out to the left. Fredericks to the right of Kuhneman. It's a pitch over to Fredericks. Great blocking on the outside. All sorts of space. El Sarif takes him down, but not before Fredericks gains about 9 or 10 yards and a first down.
So Shanley Deacon first down.
And folks, we want to give a shout out to Sarah LaFour watching the game from Minneapolis. Sarah, a Shanley alumni and a Shanley TV alumni. Thank you for tuning in. Doubles formation look now for the Deacons. A man jumped off sides for Grafton. And so that'll be an easy 5 for Shanley. Can't be doing that if you're the spoilers. Deacons are getting too many yards as it is. You got to keep it clean at least, penalty-wise.
Yeah, you can't give them free yards because they're just going to take advantage of that.
First down and 5.
And folks, we also want to give a big shout out to August Grothman, a Shanley football player watching. He's recovering from some back surgery that will unfortunately keep him from playing this season. But a huge shout out to August. Everything went well there. So good to see he's up and moving as DeKaiser catches the touchdown. No, he lost it at the end of the play. Braden DeKaiser, a great ball from Kuhneman. He had it and he lost it going to the ground.
Yeah, it looked like he had it, and then it popped out right as he hit the ground, and the ref called it incomplete. I thought it could go either way there.
Well, Braden, as we all know, no one really knows what a catch is in football. You've seen it at the NFL level. Did he complete a football move before he broke the plane? I don't know. It looked incomplete to me, but again, I don't really know the rules there because no one does. So an unfortunate break. As now the Deacons go back to work. It's a handoff to Fredericks up the middle, and he's brought down just short of the first down marker. It's going to bring up a third down and about 1 or 2 yards. And folks, I got cut off there, but real quick, I just want to say to August Grothman, as I'm sure he knows, everyone at Shanley and that whole football team has been keeping him in their thoughts and prayers. So huge shout out to you, August, and glad to hear the surgery went well. As now the Deacons have a third down try here, and we've got a penalty in the backfield there. I'm guessing we've got either a chop block or a hold, but it doesn't matter as Buckles didn't get the first down. We'll see what the call is. Did you see anything there, Braden?
I saw someone. I didn't get a number, but they definitely had a penalty there.
Okay, we'll see maybe if we can get a look on the replay. I'm guessing, regardless, Shanley's probably going to go for it here. I think we'll see Grafton decline and then Shanley go for the 4th.
I think so, too.
Although, actually, you know what? I think Grafton will take the penalty. And I actually do agree with that, Braden, because I think the odds of Shanley picking up the first down on that 4th down try were pretty good with the short yardage. I think it's much smarter to back them up like this. So that's a good coaching decision there by Grafton. So doubles formation, 3rd and 15 now for the Deacons. Kuhneman drops back, slant route to DeKaiser, couldn't reel it in. It was just a touch behind him. And that was a quick fire there from Kuhneman. He knew exactly the route that he was looking for, and he had him open. It was just a little behind. DeKaiser couldn't haul it in, and now we're looking at 4th and 15, and Shanley is going for it. A bold move, but I'd say bold I think bold describes Troy Mattern's coaching philosophy. As now it's trips left flank or right. Kuhneman looking downfield. He wants DeKaiser. He was trying to lead him there. Braden, I think that was a miscommunication on which way DeKaiser was going at the end of that route.
Yeah, both of them definitely weren't on the same page there. Who knows who made the mistake, but they definitely were not on the same page.
And you saw Kuhneman saw nothing there to his left early on, and so he just wanted to go to DeKaiser, but it was good coverage from Grafton. There wasn't much there, even if they were on the same page, because they had the safety and the corner all over the sophomore Braden DeKaiser that time. And if you're Kuhneman that time, you maybe want to hold on to the ball a hair longer because he's got good protection right now. But it's understandable sometimes as a quarterback, you just want, you never want to hold on to it too long. You kind of just want to get out of your hands. But that patience, it's part of just playing the season out. As the games go on, you get a little more confidence. As that is going nowhere, El Sarif gets shut down by Joe Cava. Albright trying the fake there, a little misdirection run that time, all sorts of movement, and Cava not fooled.
Yeah, no one even attempted to block Joe Cava. He got there really easy.
2:41 left to go here in the first quarter. Grafton's offense has been strong so far, although right now Shanley's defense is really starting to step up. They're really tightening their grip on the spoilers. 2nd and 13. Grafton coming to the line now after negative yardage on that first play. I formation look with a wing back to the left of Albright. Albright fakes to the fullback, pitch out to Reyes. Reyes has space, breaking through tackles. And he's only back about to the original line of scrimmage, so that puts Grafton in a tough spot with a 3rd and 10 on the wrong side of the 50. And they're doing a lot of misdirection back there, Braden. They're clearly trying to get the Deacons to bite. I think they're recognizing, some of their weaknesses there in the trenches, and they're trying to make up for that with some creative plays here, which I think is a good strategy.
I think so too. It's really hard for them to get going up the middle, so they need to really work the ball outside.
All right, so here's the look. We got one running back there behind Albright who's under center, receiver to the left and two to the right. We got a whistle, though, before that one could get going. And I think this is against Grafton. We got another false start here, and that's huge. That turns a 3rd and 9 into a 3rd and 14.
Yeah, that changes the play call for sure.
Second offensive penalty we've seen against the Spoilers. And now, you know, on that 3rd and 9, if you're Grafton, you could maybe try that same screen pass again. You could maybe try a pitch out to Reyes or something creative. But, you know, now with the 3rd and 14, I think you just got to throw it. With this trips, though, to the right, I think we might see the screen pass. Let's see. Albright going to go to the screen, and Haley Buckles had the same thought we did, Braden. He knew that screen pass was coming, and he shut it down.
Yeah, he read that really well. Got through there, made the open field tackle, 4th down.
And if you're Grafton, it's tough, but you got to open up the playbook here because I think everyone knew what was coming. They brought the trips out. The screen pass worked once, but against this Shanley defense and Steve Huber, you're not gonna find many plays that work twice. You're gonna have to get really creative, and I think Grafton maybe just learned that lesson. So the Spoilers will be forced to punt, something the Deacons are not very familiar with, as we've seen here. Two very different philosophies, as now we've got a penalty again, and I'm not sure what the call is.
Jed, I think I saw an illegal procedure on Grafton there.
And that is just not good for the Spoilers, as that's penalty number 4 against them. And that's a good catch, Braden. That's exactly what it was. And so 39 seconds to go left here in the first. Grafton's going to be backed up another 5 yards. And they're going to be punting from even deeper in their own territory. Last punt they tried, don't forget, Deacons almost blocked it. They were just a few inches off. Let's see if Grafton has made some adjustments in their protection of their punter. Botch snap. We've got a flag down, and oh, that was not good, as a lot went wrong on that play. But was there an initial penalty against Grafton?
I think there was, but it looks like the ref was pointing to the ground, so maybe the punter's knee was down before he got the ball kicked off.
Oh,
my. And that's a tough break for Grafton and a huge break for Shanley, as Bo Feltman was back there punting and got taken out at the legs in what would usually be an automatic 1st down, I think. So a huge break for Shanley there, as Feltman just got caught with his knee down. Boy, that was not good for anyone involved in that play.
No, that could have been really dangerous for Albright there.
That is a play I think both teams would like to forget going forward. So nonetheless, it's a doubles look here for Shanley with position inside Grafton's 20. Kuhneman takes the snap, little low, hands it off to Busick, and Busick not much space to go there. Gets about 3 or 4, though. That's the thing with this Shanley offensive line. It doesn't look like Busick gained much on that run because the O-line was already so far downfield, just driving their men away. It's like the line of scrimmage just moves with your running back.
Yeah, as of now, the Shanley's winning the battle in the trenches.
And Deacons could not get the snap off before the end of the first quarter. And so they'll flip fields here, and after the end of one, it is 7-0 in favor of Shanley. And Braden, I know there's been a lot wrong here for Grafton. I know the Deacons are knocking on the door, but I think to come away from the first quarter only down 7-0 is a good thing for Grafton right now.
I agree with that. Last year, Shanley put up huge numbers in the first quarter. That's how they won their ball games.
Yeah, and we saw Grafton surrender a lot of points to St. Mary's last week, 41-0, and so it's just really encouraging for Grafton. That's only 7-0. Like you said, also Shanley, that's their mantra. They get up huge in the first, second quarter, and then they can just kind of coast. Because their offense is so effective early on. So there's some positives there for Grafton. The negatives, though, is Shanley is in prime position to score again.
Yeah, Shanley, it looks like they're going to come out, maybe get a quick touchdown here, right to open the second quarter.
That would be my prediction. But Grafton has proved us wrong here, grabbed an early pick. they've been playing good. I really like the adjustments they've made from that St. Mary's game. They seem like a better team here tonight. I know they've had a lot of penalties, but they still seem to be executing a lot better than we saw in week 1.
Yeah, they definitely did their homework. Watch your film on them, watch the film on Shanley, and they've really come out strong.
And I'd say the same for Shanley. They certainly have it looks like they've cleaned up a lot from that Jamestown game as well. So now here we go, 2nd and 5, Kuhneman in shotgun, hands off to Busick. Busick with all the space in the world, and he will not be denied. Forearm might have hit short. No, that's not the case. He broke the plane.
Yeah, you got to give your credit there to the lineman. That huge hole, no one was going to touch him there.
Yeah, I mean, Busick, it's a good run, really well read by Busick, and he lowers the shoulder at the end. But, yeah, he did not have to do much. As a capable running back, he could just follow his blockers into the end zone. And Shanley's just dominating right now. They are having their way at the line of scrimmage, and that's got to change.
Yeah, I think if you're Shanley, you're normally a pass team, but right now you're in the trenches. You just got to keep running the ball, pound it.
And that's what was effective for Jamestown in that week 1 matchup. That's Jamestown's strength. They're very strong on the line. They've got big guys. They've got strong guys, well-coached linemen that could really go toe-to-toe with Shanley. I think that's been the difference so far in this one. Grafton, not quite the same caliber of linemen as we saw with Jamestown. So 14-0 in favor of Shanley after excellent field position from a botched punt by Grafton. So, Braden, what's your expectation here on offense for Grafton? We've seen a very little variety in their offense now. It almost feels like they've kind of shown all the plays they have, but we know that's not the case. Do you think it's time to start reaching in and just start pulling out some of the other plays you've worked on?
Yeah, they definitely do. Shanley has caught on to the plays they're doing. Coach Huber's doing an excellent job getting his players in the right position.
All right, so we'll see what Grafton can bring to the table. They're going to have to use some misdirection. We've already seen them use some of that. They're going to have to bring out some new plays. They're going to have to try and show something that Shanley hasn't already seen. Hopefully for the spoilers, they didn't use their entire bag of tricks against St. Mary's last week because we know that Shanley's watched all that tape. You couple that with their in-game experience so far, and I'm sure the Deacons are feeling like they've almost got this Grafton Spoilers offense completely figured out.
Yeah, after that touchdown, their confidence is way up right now.
So Machenbacher ready to kick this one away. And it's an onside attempt. That does not work. And, well, you want to talk confidence. There's a display of confidence from Shanley going with the onside after building a 2-touchdown lead. And a puzzling decision, I would have to describe that as, Braden.
Yeah, that was an interesting play call. I get it that you want the ball back right away to score, but your defense is doing a great job, so why not pin them deep and get the ball back?
And so they'll be kicking off again. I'm not sure if... So was that maybe a false start? And they have to, because it looks like they moved the ball back 5 yards. That definitely looked like a designed onside, regardless of what actually was called.
Yeah, Cole was definitely coming over to get the ball. I think they called an offsides on him.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, fortunate for the Deacons as the onside didn't work. But anyway, here we go as the kickoff will be taken by Suda. Suda has some space, spinning forward at about the 30. He lost the football. I think he may have ended up back on it. No, that is not the case. Shanley does indeed have the football, so didn't need the onside, I guess. The regular kickoff worked well enough, and that's the second time we've seen Grafton cough the ball up. Last time they were back on top of it. This time they're not so lucky, and those mistakes are just really hurting the spoilers right now.
Yeah, sometimes just your luck goes that way for Shanley. You know, you get a fumble, you get another touchdown.
So, Deacon offense going to go right back to work. I'm expecting more of the same, just a little more hurry up here. Runs from Busick, QB keepers, and a couple deep balls from Kuhneman. We know Shanley loves the big play. That was what their offense was almost entirely made of against Jamestown. As Kuhneman fires a bullet to Andy Clark, good for a gain of 11 or 12, and that was just a rocket there from Caden Kuhneman. Get a look at the replay. Spoilers unable really to pick up Clark there, as he was just wide open in the middle of the field. And you've got to have someone there kind of patrolling the middle, whether you're dropping a linebacker or what have you. But there's got to be someone there. As now Busick is going to run this one down to about the 5, still on his feet. And he'll be brought down just short of the end zone. And Shanley looks primed to go up by another touchdown here. Busick just such a hard runner. You can see it there. He does not give up. You've got to get multiple guys on him if you want any hope of putting him on the ground.
Yeah, you have to get multiple guys there, as you said. He'll never give up until he gets that touchdown.
And a nice stop there for Grafton as Busick is unable to really go anywhere. So 11:03 left to go in the second now. Shanley looking for that third touchdown. Busick was met initially, but he'll find his way into the end zone for touchdown number 3.
Yeah, Shanley's offensive line did another good job of getting that big hole, and it was all Cade Busick on the power there.
Yeah, it's just all too easy for the Deacons there. That hurry up really seems to be gassing Grafton as well.
Yeah, you can tell Grafton's getting a little winded, and we're 2 minutes into the second quarter here.
And part of that is they're just not getting any time on offense. You know, the benefits of them running such a slower offense is they get to catch their breath, but they're only having the ball for about 2 or 3 plays here with so many 3-and-outs and turnovers. You know, we just saw them go defense straight back to defense as they fumbled the kickoff, and they cannot do that if they want to, you know, stay in this game, if they want to have any breath left.
No, they need to get the ball, and they need to get a couple plays that string a few first downs together and get back in this game.
And easier said than done, though, as we've seen. The Shanley defense has been shutting them down. So, Braden, do you think we'll see an onside attempt on this kickoff?
I don't believe so. I think they'll boot it down there. We'll see, I guess.
3-touchdown lead this early. You have to imagine they'll be content to just trust the defense.
Yeah, and they've done a great job so far.
And so Grafton got to be thinking here about just going back to the fundamentals. You know, the next guy to hold this football has got to have it in the back of his head. You know, first things first, secure the ball and worry about the run later, because right now that's as basic as you got to get for Grafton. They looked so strong early. They were doing everything right, very few mistakes, and that is not the case. Things really turned around there.
All right, Deacon fans, everybody up for the kickoff.
So Machenbacher to kick this one away. And there's the kick from Matt Machenbacher. Suda will return once again. He had a nice return last time until he fumbled. And he's able to make it out to about the 27 or 28 there, and that's where Grafton will go back to work.
Suda for the spoilers. Cole Fredericks on the stop for the Deacons. It'll be first down and 10 for the spoilers at their 27-yard line.
So starting from their own 27 is Grafton. 10:43 left in the second quarter. Just be huge if they could even cross that 50, Braden.
Yeah, that would give them a lot of confidence going into half. They can have a long possession here. Keep the ball away from Shanley.
So it's that familiar formation. They got trips right, and Reyes is behind Albright. El Sarif went in motion there. Reyes on the pitch trying to turn it upfield, and again, Braden, you know, we've seen that pitch 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, the Shanley defense is starting to pick out the pitch. I think they really got to start going to their passing game now.
Yeah, we really haven't seen any of it since Albright's interception. We saw one other pass play. Other than that, it's only been screens and runs. And yeah, you got to change it up. You just got to start doing whatever you can. Albright's a pretty capable quarterback, veteran quarterback. I think you got to put your trust in your guy. Want to give a shout out to Shanley teacher Mrs. Cornea, who's tuning into the game. Thank you very much for tuning in. And for anyone who wants a shout out, get in contact with us on social media, and we'll try to give you one as we've got another flag. And if I had to guess, I'm thinking false start here, although early indications might be against Shanley. And now they're going to pick the flag up.
Offside against the Deacons.
I believe they call Coachman on the Deacons there.
It will be an offsides against Shanley. And so that's a nice break for Grafton. You know, you need yards any way you can get them. They haven't really been getting much anything. Maybe, though, that penalty can spark them. It certainly gives you more options in your playbook now. 2nd and 5, a lot more manageable than 2nd and 10. Trips left this time with Albright under center. Albright looking for that screen pass. Now he steps up, fires one to El Sarif, and El Sarif had 3 men around him. Just nothing really there he could do.
Yeah, not much you can do there when Shanley's defensive line is all over you.
I'm not sure if this was yeah, it looks like a fake on the screen trying to take advantage of Shanley's anticipating of that screen pass. And it's the right idea, you know, that's definitely what you got to be trying to do, trying to shake things up, but El Sarif just had nowhere to go that time. Pressure was on Albright. Just great defensive play by Shanley is really the best way to sum that up. So, different formation here. We got 2 men to the left, 1 to the right. El Sarif goes in motion, and it'll be a handoff to El Sarif, and that won't make it very far. Dropped for maybe a loss of 1 that time. Cole Fredericks got there, and like I said, you can't really run outside against this Shanley offense. Fredericks especially is usually there to shut you down.
Yeah, not only Fredericks, but all of their linebackers have great speed, aggressiveness, and athleticism. You really can't run against them. Yeah, that linebacking core is really the strength of the Shanley defense. But again, that defensive line, you can make the argument that they are, and even the D-backs, it's just very deep. That's really been Shanley's advantage, I'd say, this year. It's just such a deep team. I mean, you can look at their sideline versus the Grafton sideline. You can see why running that no-huddle works so well for them. They've got just a whole bunch of bodies they can rotate in, and they do a good job taking advantage of that. Nice punt will bounce to Clark on the far sideline, stays in bounds, and he'll run out after a nice gain of 6 or 7.
Punt returned by Clark for a short gain. Be first down and 10 for the Deacons.
So 1st and 10 for Shanley.
At their 34-yard line.
Starting back from their own 34, and already you can see a couple numbers in there that we haven't seen. Henry Collins, the sophomore receiver, has checked in, along with Braden Block. And these aren't really JV guys. These are really kind of their first reserves that they're putting in here. And again, I think kind of displaying the depth that they have is these are guys who could easily be starting, as it's an option play from Kuhneman over to Fredericks. And Fredericks is off to the races now. He's going to make a move on the near side, another, and then he's finally brought down after a gain of, gosh, maybe 40 yards that time. The read option works perfectly for the Deacons.
Yeah, if you get Cole Fredericks the ball in open space, you get 1 block, he could be gone.
Yeah, that's really what Fredericks brings to the table as a running back. So fast and excellent vision, as you saw there, making great moves and great reads. Doubles formation again. Fredericks will take a breather after the long run. Kuhneman on the keeper, lots of space to run, and he'll get a first down.
Again, another huge hole by the Shanley offensive line.
8:15 left to go here in the second as Shanley continues to drive this one down. A touchdown feels imminent for him, as Grafton has really had no answer so far. Kuhneman in shotgun, 3 men out to the right, 1 out to the left. Handoff to Manuel, who is going nowhere. Well played by Grafton, sniffing out that one right away.
Manuel on the carry for the Deacons. Lost 1. Healy on the stop for the Spoilers. It'll be 3rd down and short.
Cody Keeley making the stop that time. 3rd and 2 for Shanley. Kuhneman drops back, looking to his left. He lost his handle on the football. Ball thrown short, though, and it should have been picked there by Reyes.
Yeah, Shanley kind of caught a break there with Reyes dropping that one.
And Kuhneman, it's pretty hot out there. I'm wondering if that was the sweat on his hand that time. You can see him wiping off with the towel. He lost his handle, and then he underthrew it. And so often when you underthrow, it's because of slippage like that. But Shanley really fortunate there, as that should have been an easy interception for Reyes, as Kuhneman will now easily pick up the first down on 4th. And again, Shanley just refusing to do anything but go for it on 4th down, and why not? It's worked almost every time. They've only been stopped once, and that was on a 4th and 15.
Yeah, you got to keep working. You got to keep doing what's working.
Yeah, there's no reason to stop. And that's the thing. Grafton just hasn't shown them enough to make them scared of turning that ball over, or, you know, possibly not coming away with points. And now Mattern's going to take a timeout, I believe.
Timeout, Shanley.
Yeah, I'm guessing he saw something he didn't really like there, so he wanted to talk over with the team.
Likely, he probably wants to make sure that they can punch one in here. Likely wants to make sure that they can punch the ball in here, and go up by 4 touchdowns as he, I'm guessing, is going to try and ensure this game before halftime. Grafton, though, if they have anything to say about it, is going to try and take that opportunity away. I'll tell you what, the passing game has been there for Shanley, and we know that that's what Mattern likes to do. We know that's the identity of this team, but it's been the run game that I think has been the most impressive. There have been a few too many errors throwing the ball, and that's kind of the risk you run in high school when you're passing the ball. Even the best passing offenses are going to have those mistakes. But right now, Shanley just seems so capable of running the football. Between Kuhneman on the QB keepers, Fredericks and Busick with huge runs, clearly a very good run-blocking offensive line. That ground and pound is something that's worked really well for Shanley.
Yeah, it's good to see when your passing game isn't working, you can rely on that running game.
Absolutely. So 3 receivers out right, 1 out left. Kuhneman in shotgun, Manuel to his right. Kuhneman looking. The slant route is what he wanted, but it was real tight coverage there by Suda. Suda all over Buckles there, within the legal limit, though. I mean, it was right up on the line of scrimmage. And that was clearly, we've seen a couple of those slant routes where that's all the Deacons really have drawn up there. They want the quick slant, and to Grafton's credit, they've done a good job taking those away. The Shanley clearly just wants, big chunks of yards fast with those plays, and the spoilers won't give it to them. They're making them stretch the ball out in different directions. 2nd and 10 now. And it's a handoff to Manuel up the middle, and Manuel was not going to be denied. He was met with some contact initially, and then he saw a hole and just accelerated through it. And let's see at the end of the replay here, he goes toe-to-toe with a Grafton defender. You see it's a nice read there by Manuel, and yeah, no one wants a part of Austin Manuel that close to the goal line. That was Carter Lopez there, and you can see he knows that it's not worth just trying to have a big collision right on the goal line.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough tackle for him to make.
And sometimes it's smart to kind of preserve body over, when it was pretty clear Manuel's momentum was going to carry him in there. As Machenbacher will tack on the extra point, making it 28-0. And with a little break here, folks, in the action, as they get set for the kickoff, we would like to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button, or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member, and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon athletics to a higher level. And we want to give another shout out to head coach of the Shanley boys soccer team, Ryan Christensen, who's tuning in. So great to hear that. We're obviously huge fans of the Shanley soccer team, and we want to give a big shout out to them for picking up their first EDC win yesterday on a game brought to you by Shanley TV. Huge win for Coach Christensen and the boys. And the boys, of course, would include my partner Braden Altringer here, so big win for that soccer team.
Yeah, it was a huge confidence booster, losing 3 games in a row, getting that win. Hopefully the rest of the season goes that way.
Very nice. Shanley sports kind of going well all over the place as we've got a 28-0 lead for the Shanley football team here. And the volleyball team also walked away with a win at home against West Fargo last night. Now here's the kickoff. It's a little squib to the right side, and the Deacons are comfortable doing that right now. The defense has played well. Suda, though he did have the fumble, has shown some danger there as a returner, and so I think Shanley's just trusting the defense right now. They're okay giving up some field position.
Yeah, I think at this point in the game, you give up field position, you get a 4 and out, you get the ball back, and you try to score again.
Don't allow them to get the potential big return that could spark them and get them back in this one. So, with about 7:08 left here, Braden, I'd say the dream situation for Grafton is if they can string together a big possession here, take a lot of time off the clock and punch one in before the end of the half, put together a real nice drive here. That would be great for their confidence. In the short term, though, let's see if they can just cross the 50, as that'd be huge as well. And there's a handoff to Lopez. Or excuse me, that was Rios, my apologies. Rios, who only gains a yard or 2, but it is a bit of a different look. However, we have a man down behind the play.
Manuel on the stop for the Deacons. We'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
And I'm not sure. That might be Albright.
Yeah, I didn't get a number. It looks like Albright's over there on the sideline. Looks like a lineman.
Yeah. You're right. That is a lineman. And that is 65, Julio Espinoza. And Espinoza a member of that line, so young. He's only a sophomore, and there's just not many guys that they can throw in there. As we talked about, they're a little thin at that line position. They don't have the same depth that the Deacons have, so that's tough to see for Grafton. You really hope that he can come back.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. Hopefully he can come back. Hopefully it wasn't anything too serious or major.
Right. So 2nd and 7 with 6:32 to go here. It's full house look now for Grafton. Faking the handoff, Albright drops back, pressure in his face, and he's wrapped up and brought down, and Cade Busick will get the sack.
Busick on the tackle for loss.
Always interesting to see a quarterback sacking other quarterbacks.
That is very interesting to see. I noticed on this play, Shanley secondary had everyone covered, so I was able to get Cade Busick to the ball.
Well, and the other part of that play, Braden, is you've got 3 running backs back there in that full house formation, and they did not use any of them really on a passing route that time. They basically had 8 linemen out there to try and pick up the blitz from Shanley, and it did not work, and that really speaks to Shanley's defensive ability, their ability to get penetration, and like you said, the coverage, because Albright had some time but couldn't find anyone. I'm guessing we might see a similar play here as they've got that same formation on an obvious passing down. Also looks like Albright was going for the hard count there, actually. Maybe trying to get someone to jump, because you saw some movement there from Shanley, and they worked right up to the end of the play clock. So maybe looking for an easy 5 there to make that a more manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, I'm not sure they had a play call on there, just trying to get a penalty, get some yards.
Because I thought, it's an interesting formation with such long yardage on 3rd down, so that interesting call there, going for the hard count on 3rd. But again, I like the creativity from Grafton.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you got to start thinking of some of those trick plays to keep Shanley on their feet.
Yeah, you got to go outside the box. I can think back to last year against Valley City. That was a game Shanley was expected to win by quite a wide margin. Valley City comes out, they have a little trickery on their first plays of the game, and they complete a huge touchdown pass, and Shanley trailed for the first time all season at that point against a big underdog. And that just sticks out to me because that's a good example of when you can get creative, in one of these matchups where you're not expected to necessarily win or to, have a close game. When you can get creative, when you can throw these teams off their regular game, you can do some damage.
Yeah, sometimes it only takes one play to get you going.
No doubt. So 5:37 left. Let's see what they've got up their sleeves. It is that full house look. 3rd and 16. They're going to go with the pitch out to El Sarif, maybe looking for some more manageable yardage on the punt to try and give Shanley a little worse field position. You would hope, if you're Grafton, you wanted to burn a little more time there. 5:31 is a lot of time for Shanley. Honestly, we know they can get down the field in about a minute with the kind of offense they run. But now they're going to have a lot of time. Let's see if Grafton can give them some bad field position. That's the one thing Shanley has not faced really once in this game. They have not had poor field position at all.
No, you want to get a little bit of pressure on them, and that can start by getting a good punt here.
They've started almost every drive in Grafton territory, in fact, as this is a nice punt here from Feltman. Clark's going to try and track it down. It takes a Deacon bounce, but it's well played by Esger Rios, who will down it there at the 36-yard line of Shanley.
Ball is down at the Deacons' 36-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10.
And Jed, it appears we have another lineman on the field for the Deacons here. Looks like it's number 54, Luke Beiswinger.
And Beiswinger is one of those guys who he's basically a starter who sometimes doesn't start. He's almost like the 6th lineman. Block is another one of those guys who's in a similar situation. A big part of that, though, is Evan Bubak is still out from shoulder injury.
Yeah, I think
dislocated.
He tore his labrum, actually.
Oh, okay.
Partially tore it.
And so Bubak is out with that shoulder injury for a little bit as Kuhneman drops back to pass here, looking for a man. He's got Buckles, and Buckles is just brought down by the jersey. Suda was all over him in good coverage, but Buckles made a heck of an adjustment there. It was a great ball, too, from Caden Kuhneman.
Suda on the stop for the spoilers. It'll be 1st down.
Great ball there from Kuhneman. He put it on the right, put it on the outside shoulder that time, so so Buckles could get around Suda. Not much more Suda could do. At least he grabbed the jersey there and kept Buckles from taking off. A little pressure there on Kuhneman, trying to hook up with Buckles once again. Was he inbounds? Yeah, I didn't think so. He was already out when he caught it, unfortunately. It was close, though.
But Haley's winning that battle with that secondary right there. I think you got to keep going back to him until they can stop him.
Absolutely. And for how good of a player Buckles is, you do have to give some credit to Suda because he's right there every time. Clearly a pretty fast and pretty solid cornerback to be competing as well as he is with Haley.
Yeah, he's giving a hard time to Haley.
Trips right, flanker left. Kuhneman looking to his right that time, and now he'll take off with it. Just short of the first down, and I'm not sure, did that look like a designed run to you?
I don't think so. I think they were looking for a quick slant there, but it wasn't there, so Caden had to take off.
Well, that's a heads-up play there then by Kuhneman, and we'll see here. The way the blocking was, yeah, I mean, that looked like a design passing play. You're right. That's really well done by Kuhneman as he saw a gap open up and took advantage. Third down, it's a pitch out to Fredericks. These have been killer for Grafton. And Fredericks, though he doesn't gain much, will gain enough. It's a positive for Grafton to only let him get a few yards. Unfortunately for them, though, that's all he needed for the first down.
Yeah, I still think it's good for Grafton because they sniffed out that play that they saw earlier. I think this could be a confidence booster for them.
Plenty of time here for the Deacons with 4:25 to go in the second. Kuhneman fakes the handoff. Now it's a QB keeper. He's got tons of space. He might get that one in. No, Suda with a beauty of a tackle there at the feet, but that was after Kuhneman had picked up a whole bunch of yardage.
Gain of 10. That's a first down, Deacons.
And I'm really impressed with not only the blocking of this offensive line, but also those receivers. Buckles and everyone else out there, they've been blocking so well downfield on these D-backs. Kuhneman looking for Collins, and he overthrows him a little bit. And again, that might have been a miscommunication, as I think Collins, I think he ran the right route, but I don't know if he ran it quite correct. You can see Mattern kind of signaling, I think, what he wanted him to do.
Yep, I think he was supposed to come out of his break a little sooner and get that corner right away.
Because it didn't look like, it almost looked like he wanted to go the opposite direction, but not quite, and I think that's exactly right, Braden. And so here's a handoff now to Buckles on the jet sweep. Buckles has some space, turning on the Jets there. He got in. Waiting for the signal, yes. Haley Buckles with the touchdown. And you can see there, it's almost like a trot there as he's in the backfield, although a trot for Haley Buckles is a sprint for most people. You can see the patience as he's just kind of waiting, not going full steam, and then when he sees the hole, that's when he takes off.
Yeah, I was waiting for this play to come out because it worked a couple of times last year, and they got a few touchdowns from Haley last year.
And Buckles already has just had such a fantastic game. A huge senior year for him so far. I mean, we're only a game and a half in, but he's put up some monster stats.
Yeah, it's a very good start for him.
So Shanley making this 35-0 now. With still 4 minutes left, they could get the ball. With the way the game's been going, it's more likely than not that they'll get the ball back. If you're Grafton, you got to do everything in your power to stop that.
Yes, you do. But if you're Shanley here, you want to get one more touchdown. So then in the second half, you can get some of those JV players in, those third strings. Absolutely, get some of the younger guys in. And you have to imagine, right, they'd ease off the gas there at the beginning of the second half if they punch one more in, even with 35-0. You have to imagine we'd start to see some of those rotational guys check in. But Grafton, though, let's see what they can do. Let's see. I'd love to see him cross midfield here, again, as just part of a confidence thing. And you can definitely, I think this halftime is going to be very good for them as they look pretty tired right now working against this no huddle and having to be out on defense so much. I think it'll be very good to go into this halftime. Yeah, you can tell they're definitely winded. But not only that, they need to get a new formula, I think, on their offensive game. And, maybe that's not an adjustment that you're capable of making at half. But I think, even if they can't make that adjustment in-game, I think they've definitely learned that the playbook needs to expand going forward. Yes, and I think they'll make that adjustment. If it's not today, in the future week, they'll do their homework. They'll watch their film. And Machenbacher will put that kickoff out of bounds. That'll be a penalty against the Deacons. And set Grafton up with some decent field position now. So Grafton will have 3:55 to work with. After the kick out of bounds, they'll start at their own 35.
First down and 10, Spoilers.
And Espinoza is back out there for Grafton. That's a great sign. We saw him check out a little while ago. Was a little shaken up. But now we'll see. It looks like he's back and ready to go. And Braden, you talked about it earlier. I'd love to see some more regular passing plays from Grafton. I know that's not the strong point of their game, but I'd just like to see what they can do. As I feel like Albright's got the arm, and it looks like we got a false start. That's what the Deacons are saying. Obviously, it looked like Shanley jumped, but it's so hard to tell from up here because you don't know what someone did, down there on the line.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell up here. We don't have the greatest vantage point.
Right. Well, I'll see what the refs say here, though. Shanley seems convinced it's against Grafton. But, you know, you tend to think that. And it does appear we have a couple more of those rotational guys out there, as Jack Leonard is out there for the Deacons. And they will call encroachment against Shanley. And so, despite the fact that the Deacons were convinced it was against the other team, the referee's probably not going to listen to that case. They're a little biased. Just a little.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lenhart out there, another rotational guy for the Deacons. Just one of those names that, you know, you don't call a second stringer maybe, but he's high on the rotation.
Yeah, it's good to get him in there, get some of those starters some rest.
And he's one of those guys that you know could step up if one of these starters got hurt, and it's just so much better when they have experience in the event something like that happens.
Yeah, but you can already see Brandon Rosberg started coming back in.
And so Lenhart checks out after that one, yeah, like we said. But it's as you said, part of that is just even if you can take one play off, you know, as one of these guys who's playing both sides of the ball, that's huge. I mean, that's just so big to just catch your breath, you know, and not even just physically, but mentally too, to just kind of check out for a minute and kind of regain your composure.
Yeah, it's a great mental refresher.
So I formation now for Grafton. El Sarif goes in motion, and we got a flag, I'm guessing, for illegal motion.
Appears to be so, Jed.
Reyes on the carry.
And Reyes really didn't go anywhere either.
Stop for the Deacons.
Cava made the tackle.
We do have a flag on the play.
And you can see Cava there. They're putting two guys on him on a lot of these plays, and he still just finds his way through. He powers through. You know, Cava's one of those guys who he's got a good arsenal of moves, but he doesn't even really need them half the time because he can just muscle in.
Yeah, even if he's getting double teamed, he's not going to stop until he gets to that quarterback.
Reminds me a lot of Nick Chera from a little while ago. Nick Chera was one of those guys who could just get back there. He had a ton of different moves. He was one of those guys with just such natural strength. He could move the guy across from him. And like Joe Cava, he played for a long time. He played from a young age and played well. 2:47 left to go in the second quarter. 3rd and 5 for Grafton. And Albright's going to burn a timeout here. Good play there by the senior. Clearly did not feel they were ready on that play. Knows it's an important one. And that's when you're a guy like Albright who's been doing this for a while, you can do that. Your coach trusts you enough to call the timeouts like that.
Yeah, you can tell they were not set up in the right formation. They had guys running all over the backfield. So that was a really smart play by the quarterback there.
We need them moved as soon as possible. A Toyota Prius with Minnesota plates.
And so Braden, you know, let's say Grafton here doesn't pick up this 3rd down. You know, let's say it's an incomplete pass. They've got a 4th and 5 type situation. What do you think they do at about midfield here? You think they try and go for it?
Jed, I don't think so. I think you got to punt the ball and get a stop before halftime with a little confidence going into halftime.
Sure. Put some trust in the defense. You know, it's a tough call. You know, right now they've been punting. They've been trying to do that, and it hasn't been working. But they're as far down the field as they've been in a while, so maybe it's a good point. If you could get a stop with some good circumstances, you know, not a lot of clock left for Shanley's offense, maybe bad field position, that'd be huge. We'll see, though. Hopefully for Grafton, they won't even have to think about that, and they can pick up the 1st down. I formation. Fakes the handoff. Albright in trouble, rolling out, looking downfield. He's got a man. It's complete to Reyes. Reyes makes a move and is down at the 40-yard line. And what an absolutely huge play for Grafton.
That's a huge confidence booster there. Quarterback rolling out of the pocket, finds a receiver. Huge play there.
There is a flag on the play.
And there's a flag on this one. And it sure looks like it's against Grafton. And man, that is just got to be deflating if you're the Spoilers, if that's the case.
Yeah, that hurts really bad there.
Chop block, and that's going back. And, man, that is too bad because that was the best play we had seen from them offensively. It was a great route. Great job by Albright to buy time. Reyes slipped his way through the Shanley secondary, and it just got to put them way back. Look at this. They're all the way back at their 15 now.
Yeah, that really could have been a huge spark for them to get going on their offensive side.
The 15-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction.
I mean, that's the difference of almost like about 50 yards now going from. That's really tough.
Flipping the field for sure.
Or 40, I suppose, yeah, as they were about the 40, 45. So 2:25 and counting left. 35-0 Shanley. It is 3rd down and 30 yards. I imagine we'll probably see a run just to get themselves away from their own end zone. They might take a shot, though. We'll see. And that's what they're going to do as Albright goes down and is sacked, as pretty much the whole Deacon defensive line was back there already. That said, Braden, I really like the play call.
I do agree with that. They need to get yards there just to kind of get back closer to the original line of scrimmage there.
Right, and I mean, you can try, you can try the run, try to get a little more breathing room. But at this point, down 35-0, why not go for it? Even if you can just complete, even if you don't get the first down, even if you get like a 15, 20-yard pass, that's better than just trying to go for, a 3-4 yard run.
Yeah, we're at that point in the game where you got to start taking some of those risky chances for the bigger success.
So, on the punt, it's Bo Feltman. And Grafton smartly here burning all sorts of clock. By the time this one gets off, Shanley should only have about 1:15 to work with. So here's the punt from Feltman. It's a high punt, and it's got some good distance. Clark's just going to fair catch it at the 45. 1:18, though, from Grafton's 45. That's very doable for Shanley.
Especially with their high-tempo offense. It might only take a couple plays for them to score again.
And if they can get one in here, I would think this might be our last look at the Shanley starting offense.
I do agree. They might get one drive to start third quarter, but then right away the second strings, third strings are going to start coming in.
We have seen Mattern is never eager to pull those starters. He likes to leave them on, and he doesn't do running offenses where it burns more clock. He stays with his starters and his game plan all the way through, and that does add some valuable reps. You can't replicate those real game reps in practice, as Kuhneman goes for the 2 or 3 yard QB keeper.
It's huge to get those game reps, even if you're up by a lot. Still get those game reps. Keep your legs going. It's huge.
So trips left, flanker right. Kuhneman in shotgun. Frederick's off to the side. Low snap. Kuhneman able to scoop it up. He sees opening, and just a little indecisive that time, I think.
Yeah, not much you can do there with good coverage, bad snap.
He saw some green there, and he was going to go for it. I think he would have had a lot there if he had gone, but then he thought about throwing it, and then that kind of cost him. Still, though, able to gain some positive yardage. So it's now 3rd and 6. Kuhneman with lots of time looking downfield. He's got Buckles wide open, and Buckles took a hit and appears to be in a really good deal of pain on a really unfortunate play.
Yeah, that's not a good sign for Shanley, as one of their better athletes are down here.
That is really tough to see. And, Braden, I can't tell if that's the arm or his midsection.
I didn't get a good look. Yeah,
I thought when he got hit, it was kind of like, honestly, when he got hit from here, it kind of looked like the shoulder area almost, but his back was to us, so I don't really know. But you could see he kicked the helmet off immediately, and that's really unfortunate. Just such a great player, and not only that, but a captain, and just really a great guy.
Yeah, we gotta hope that it's not too bad that he can come back. Maybe not tonight, but in future games.
On the play there, I couldn't quite tell. Buckles had a lot of green space around him. Kuhneman had a good ball. It was a little in front, and I think that was kind of one of those plays where it was both the receiver and the quarterback. It was a little in front. Buckles had a hand on it, but couldn't quite pull it in. And then, obviously, spoilers there, just going to try and knock the ball loose because it looked like Buckles was going to haul it in. And so that's tough. And I'm sure if you're Grafton, you're feeling. That's always tough as the player, who, when it's kind of an individual one-on-one play like that, is the player who delivered, a hit like that. That's always tough. But, you can't put any blame there on Grafton. That's absolutely, that's how that play is going to go 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, that's a game of football. He made a good read there.
Right.
Hard hit.
Can't do much. That's just, you're right. That's the game of football. Sometimes that's just how things go, unfortunately.
With him being down quite a while and them not calling for more assistance, I'm curious if it's just a horrible stinger that he just can't really feel apart right now, and it'll come back in a little bit.
Braden, that's a good point. That's certainly, I think, what we'd all be hoping for. And like you said, they haven't called for anything further right now. They do have the trainer out there, obviously, and Coach Mattern. But you're right. Sometimes you can get those stingers, those hits that really hurt in the moment, that make it unable to get up, but end up not being that bad. So obviously, we're hoping it's something like that.
It's a good sign. He's moving both legs. They're not looking at that. So hopefully it's an arm injury that won't take too long.
Right, just trying to check off some of those boxes here as he's now moving a bit more, maybe going to try to get up. Meanwhile, looking at it from a football perspective here, the one positive, for Shanley here is that it's a position they're very deep at. If we're actually talking about, an injury that could keep him out here, they've got a lot of guys. Between DeKaiser, Collins, we've seen some of them rotate in. And so, from a football perspective, obviously not the number one priority here, but, there's at least that for the Deacons.
Yeah, I think it's really going to hurt them more on the defensive side of the ball as him being a 3-year starter at cornerback.
Right, absolutely. And so, looks like Buckles will get up now. Soon. He's moved to his knees now, yeah.
I think there also could be a chance of maybe a major concussion because he did get rocked pretty hard there.
Yeah, and and there's just so many possibilities, and we can guess all day up here, and at the end of the day, we just don't know. What we do know is that we hope it's nothing serious, and hope that he'll be up and moving soon, and it looks like he's going to try to get up here.
It's a very good sign there.
Absolutely. And now Buckles will get up and moving, and I'm not even sure now. It looks like he's looking at his knee. And at this point, folks, I think we can just be done speculating here because all that matters is that he's moving, and we hope he gets better here.
Hopefully, it's nothing too bad.
Folks, in an update from AA play around the state, at the half, Jamestown is leading Watford City 39-0. And so Jamestown, a team that played Shanley very close in that week 1, we can see that Jamestown is certainly a top team in the state. You saw it from the way they played Shanley and from that score. And so we're back to the action on the field as Kuhnman will pitch out to Fredericks. And that was a 4th down try there, actually. And so that's going to be a turnover, and obviously, that series is a bit overshadowed right now. But that's big for Grafton. That really is. That's a good stop for them. Obviously, Shanley probably a little distracted there, but still, that's a great stop for Grafton, able to stop Shanley on a play that had worked for them.
Yeah, Shanley's definitely worried about their captain and their leader, but you got to get your focus back on this football game and winning this game.
So 23 seconds left. We might see a few things from Grafton. They might just try and run the clock down and go into half and reevaluate. Maybe they'll take a shot. We've seen that they're willing to take a couple chances here down big. Albright going to drop back. They're going for the screen pass. Able to find El Sarif on the far side. El Sarif has space, and he'll get out of bounds. And so they'll have 17 seconds left now as El Sarif will pick up the first down and get out of bounds to stop the clock. And now you're thinking maybe if they can complete 1 or 2, I'm not sure, what kind of a kicking game they've got. Maybe they can get in range for a field goal. Maybe just get in range for a bomb to the end zone.
Yeah, I'm expecting more of that bomb to the end zone with that 6'7" quarterback back there. He has to have that big arm.
No doubt. So the Spoilers head to the line now. In an interesting position here. They're right at midfield, trying to cross it. I think for the first time in the game it would be if they did. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Albright in trouble. Pressure coming, looking downfield, fires one. And he just had to get that one away to avoid the sack. And it's a good job there by Albright, able to avoid getting brought down, which would obviously back them up and probably run the clock out.
Yeah, Joe Cava had a really good move there. Come from his backside. He almost got him too.
Yeah, that's the thing about Cava. We talk a lot about his strength, but when you see him in space, it's sometimes almost surprising how good of an athlete he is and how fast he can move. And that's part of, so many tools we've talked about, but that part is a huge part of what makes him so special. He's so good in pursuit. And now, folks, I was kind of waiting to see if we'd get this. It's an intentional grounding call against Albright and the Spoilers. That's a tough break. That'll back him up to about the 43, and really, that's tough. They were right at the 50, and from a moral perspective, you really hope they can get that ball across the 50 because they got it across once, and then it was called back with the chop block, and then they were right at the 50, and they get backed up now with that penalty. So let's see if they can just do something for some positive yards. Albright Dropping back again, the pressure, able to escape it, almost ran into the ref. He fires it down the sideline again. There's a man there, but led him a little too much, not to mention good coverage. And that play takes 10 seconds off the clock, so that does it for the first half after one half of play. 35-0 in favor of Shanley. Braden, your thoughts of that first 2 quarters?
I liked how Shanley ran the ball. If they can keep that up at that pace, they're going to win this ball game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We talked about pass game was good, obviously, but that running game was something else. The trenches, the line battle has been what's impressed me. Do you think we'll see any major adjustments here at half from either team?
I don't think so. I think they'll keep sticking to what they are.
All right, well, we'll see what the second half holds, folks. 2 whole quarters of football left to be played. We'll take a break here at the half, but don't go anywhere. Whole lot of football left. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School football action. I'm Jed Thomas, joined by Braden Altringer, as we're getting set for the second half of action here on Shanley TV. Before we get to the football, though, we want to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.club.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button, or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member, and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon athletics to a higher level. And so, folks, we're just about ready for the second half of action between the Shanley Deacons and Grafton Spoilers. 35-0 is the score in favor of Shanley after one half of play. Before we get to that, though, we actually do have some updates from AA football. Just one, 32-6. That is the score, as Central Cass is up on Devil's Lake right now, 32-6. Braden, how about that? I mean, that Central Cass Devil's Lake game, that was supposed to be a back-and-forth, neck-and-neck game, and Central Cass is really taking control.
Yeah, who knows? They could have a really solid team this year, and they could make a run into the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing. I believe they have 20 or so seniors on that team, which is just an unbelievable mark. But, we've known that they're going to be a pretty good team this year for a while because that senior class, they have been really playing. They've been starting for the most part since their sophomore year, and so they've had a couple down years. But there's been this general, feeling that they've been building because of how experienced that class has been getting. So Central Cass, that is a team to watch right now. They are looking red hot. So, about ready to begin the third quarter. Again, 35-0 in favor of Shanley. They'll be kicking to Grafton here to start things off. And Braden, we've talked. You can see Cooper Mattern. Well, actually, you can't see down the bottom of your screen, but Cooper Mattern is warming up on the sideline right now. He's the third-string quarterback. Strong chance we'll see him here sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm guessing one more touchdown and the second strings will start to head in.
Yeah, that would be what I'd assume. I think we'll see, for the most part, first-string defense, for the most part, first-string offense, and then if defense can hold them, if the offense can punch one in, then I think we'll see the kind of mass substitutions instead of the, rotating players. Who knows, though? Things could go differently in this second half. Grafton's had some time to catch their breath. Shanley, of course, shaken up by the loss of Haley Buckles, as he went down with an injury right as that first half ended. And so here goes Suda now on the return. He gets hit hard at the 20, and that's as far as he'll make it. And so, yeah, like I said, Haley Buckles definitely not coming back in this one. I'm not sure if you could see it on your screen during halftime. He was on the bench for most of half and then was eventually carted off, so he did not walk off under his own power. But again, that's the extent of our knowledge. We don't know what's happened. All we know is that we do hope that it is not something overly serious. So we'll definitely be thinking about Haley and just keeping him in our thoughts and prayers as we hope that he can get better soon. Back to the game at hand, though. Grafton coming out in I formation. El Sarif win in motion. They flip it out over to Reyes. Reyes trying to find a seam up the left side. He ran a long ways horizontally, not very far vertically.
Yeah, I think he should have cut that one up there to get upfield, go north and south, not west and east.
So the clock keeps ticking as Grafton gets reset now. Not much gained on that play. It'll be 2nd and 9 now from their own 21. Jackson Lyer, one of those guys out there, higher on the depth chart, but definitely one of those second stringers or so. He's out there right now for Shanley. Handoff now up the gut, not going too far. Rios that time. Unable to do too much, gain of 2 or 3 yards. Carter Kochman checking in. He's another one of that group that, again, definitely not the JV players, kind of more those second stringers like Kochman and Lyer.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to start rolling in people here every other play.
And Kochman, he's one of those guys who really could probably be starting if Shanley weren't so deep at the positions he plays.
Yeah, he's kind of just unlucky in his class rank. It's going to take till next year till he's going to become that #1 starter.
Absolutely, although, depending on how long Buckles is out, certainly Kochman is very high on that cornerback depth chart.
Yeah.
And so here's a screen pass to El Sarif. El Sarif now moving up the near side, brought down hard, though. Good tackle that time. 2 Deacons come in there to meet him. Clark is there and Manuel as well, taking out the legs. And then, Clark was there to take out the legs, and then Manuel finished him off up top. Austin Manuel, one of those players, the senior for Shanley, just so good and often so quietly. He's just all over the place, right where he needs to be, whether he has to drop into coverage. But primarily, though, he just hunts down ball carriers and he brings them down. Austin Manuel got an unbelievable football IQ, makes him an excellent inside linebacker. So Grafton ready to punt it away after that unsuccessful attempt at a 3rd down conversion. Here's a nice punt from Feltman. Clark will have to fair catch for the 2nd time in a row. And so Shanley will start at about their own 43. And there are those starters for the Shanley offense. Kuhneman had a nice first half, did have a pick early on, and ball that probably should have been intercepted. He did have multiple touchdowns, though, and ran really well. I was very impressed with his run game.
That was a really good bounce back after throwing that interception.
Doubles formation, Kuhneman hands off to Busick, who is met immediately in the backfield. Some great penetration that time, and some very nice gang tackling by Grafton, as the first man in there was Riley Ide. Second and 10. Now with 8:55 to go in the third. Kuhneman fakes the handoff, carrying it himself. Good for a gain of 4 or 5.
And if you're Shanley, you can do that all game. You got to stick to it.
Yeah, he's just been running. He himself has been running well, but Grafton just has not been there to stop him. And I think that's partially been the offensive line, but partially the Spoilers just unable to really track that ball in the backfield. Doubles look again. 3rd down and 6 to go. Kuhneman drops back, looking to his left. He wants something there, but there's nothing, and not much more there on the ground either. Gains 2 or 3, though.
And I thought he had Talon Hoff there crossing the field there on a slant, but he kept it in and ran.
Yeah, he was looking at Hoffer. He was really staring him down. Clearly, he saw something he didn't like. Must have been a man who he thought might jump the ball. So they'll go for it on 4th here. 4th and 5. Kuhneman on the keeper. Easy pickup. 8 or 9 yards there for the Deacons. Have not punted once in this game.
Yeah, that shows that your offense is playing well and brings confidence up for your team.
And again, this team just doesn't like to punt. Troy Mattern I think it physically pains him to have to punt the football. I think it physically pains him not to get a touchdown, because he doesn't even sell for field goals, Braden. That guy just wants touchdowns. And there's a pick, though. Kuhneman trying to hit, I believe that was Hoffer on the slant, ends up right into the arms of Joseph Larson.
Yeah, I think Kane thought he was going to come in and rush, but he just sat back in coverage and got the pick.
And, Larson recognized Hoffer. Looking at the replay here, so Larson kind of pointed to Hoffer. I think he was trying to tell his teammates to get to him, and I'm not quite sure if I know where Kuhneman was going with the football there. Because Hoffer was taken off down the field. He was open, but he was way down the field, and the receiver to his left was pretty well covered, so it might have been a miscommunication that time, or maybe Kuhneman was just late on the ball to Hoffer. Really not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell in those plays what the exact cause of the interception
was. And
was.
sometimes, when you're the quarterback, maybe he was misjudging the reach of Larson, because sometimes you can forget those guys up front can get up there and grab him. So, yeah, not sure. Like you said, it's hard to tell. Albright's got time. He gets it to Reyes. Reyes now with space moving up the left side, brought down just short of the 1st down marker. And Braden, Shanley might have to wait to pull those starters right now.
It's looking like that. That was great blocking outside by Grafton's wide receivers.
Even 7 minutes left on the clock right now in this 3rd quarter.
Carson Dean on the stop for the Deacons.
Grafton coming back to the line. And Albright's going to go under center. Trips right. One running back, it's Reyes. Albright drops back, and here's Reyes. Looks pretty much like the same play on the opposite side, and it's going to work as Reyes is inside the 20. And Braden, this is not really looking like the Shanley we saw in the first half.
No, I think Grafton's came out with a little chip on their shoulder. Their wide receivers are blocking excellent right now.
Shanley came out a little slow, and Grafton came out, like you said, chip on their shoulder, firing on all cylinders. Grafton's saying right now, yeah, we're down 35-0, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop trying, and I love it. Shanley, meanwhile, I don't think they've come out, not trying. I think a big part of it, to be honest, is I think seeing a big locker room emotional leader down on the field and hurt. I think that really takes a lot of life out, so we'll see if they can, get some fire back here and try to move on, as Albright's going to roll out. And, yeah, the rollouts are not Albright's thing tonight.
No, they're just not working out for him, which is kind of unfortunate for him.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's the designed rollouts that really don't seem to work well. He does a good job buying himself some time, and when he buys himself time, when it occurs more kind of spontaneously, he seems to be better at it. But, yeah, when he starts rolling out kind of like a textbook rollout like that, it just is not working.
Yeah, when his offensive line is getting him time in the pocket, they're making plays.
Absolutely.
I think they got to stick to that.
Yeah, and you could see that time, too, he had to throw across the body, so just a whole host of issues that time for him, as it's 2nd and 10 now. Grafton's inside the 20, probably outside of field goal range in high school, but we'll see. They might not even have to think about that. Albright going to pitch it out to Reyes. Reyes looking for a seam, and he gets about back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
On the carry for the Spoilers. Sam Dietz on the stop for the Deacons.
And Sam Dietz there on the stop for Shanley. An update from AA football. St. Mary's up 35-0 over Valley City in the fourth quarter of that game. 4:57 left, and I think we might add a timeout there, Braden.
Actually, I think I see a player down on the Shanley sideline over here. It looks like Kelly, our trainer, is attending to him.
All right, thank you, Braden. Yeah, I believe I missed that. And I don't see a number.
Yep, I can't see a number. Our trainer's kind of blocking our view.
Yeah. And so he's off the playing surface right now, but he is down, in an area where he, would still be in the way of the field of play. So that's why we're still waiting.
And it looks like they're attending to his lower right leg. Might be an ankle.
Might be a cramp. And you know what? Yep. That's Reyes, actually. That's Grafton's lead running back. And so that's really not a great sign, as he's been a big difference maker. The way he's walking, though, I don't think it's anything too seriously. Hopefully, it's just a cramp.
Hopefully a cramp, just a little strain that he can come back.
It's a hot day. They've been running against that hurry-up. Reyes is one of those guys who's been out there, all night and doing a lot of the work. So it's really kind of the perfect conditions for something like that. So 3rd and 10 now. After that Reyes run goes for no gain. A shade under 5 minutes to go in the third. Again, 35-0 Shanley. Interception on a 4th down conversion attempt has set Grafton up in this position. Albright under center, 2 men to his right, 1 to his left. El Sarif going in motion. They fake the handoff to El Sarif. Now it's going to be a pass out to El Sarif. A little space on the left side, and it's taken away quickly as he's brought down short. And now Braden, Grafton has a decision as El Sarif appears to be shaken up on the play. Again, I really don't know what their kicking situation is. It seems like it might be a little long, even still at this 15-yard line. I wonder if we might see him go for it here.
You got to think they're going to go for it with them being down 35 points. You got to start taking those risks.
I think, it's tough. It'd be nice to see him get points because, they were shut out by St. Mary's last week. So it'd be really nice for them if they've got the kicker to hit a field goal here just to get points on the scoreboard for the first time this season. But we'll see. We'll see what they've got. And the ball is, the ball's back at the 23. And I thought El Sarif made it about 5 or 6 yards upfield. I'm not sure why they've moved it back. It's 3rd down again, so clearly they called something there that we just flat out missed. And Braden, I'm just going to assume you didn't catch that either.
I did not catch that either, yeah.
All right, well, it's 3rd and 15, so win against Grafton. They'll get another crack at the 3rd down, though. Albright looked the wrong direction, got it to Rios. That was a clear breakdown there. He looked to his right first. Rios wasn't there. I think they were on different pages, and it didn't even matter as Rios couldn't haul in the ball.
I think if he could have completed that ball, he could have had some room to the outside to turn it up, maybe get a couple yards.
Perhaps, yeah. So now they're at about the 23. And they're going to try the kick here. I think that's Suda, who's their kicker. This would be a pretty long attempt at the 23. That's about, what, a 33-yard field goal, Braden?
About that, yep.
And so this would be a pretty long field goal if he can make it. Boy, it'd be huge for them if they can get it. Suda gets it away. I think it's going to be short and left. It might have had the leg, but it was too far left anyway. A valiant effort there from Suda. You can see he's frustrated. And you got to feel for Grafton there, just trying to get their first points of the year there. That's just tough for them.
Yeah, they didn't end up with points, but they put a good drive together, which it's good to see for them.
Yeah, that was a real productive, great defensively. You caught a pick off of Shanley's first string, who's still out there. And then you made really good progress against that first string defense. But so unable to get the points, but there's still a whole quarter plus this 3:23 left. And now it looks like they have pulled Kuhneman. I think I saw it. Yeah, that's Cooper Mattern out there now in at quarterback. And they're probably giving Kuhneman a seat here. He had a pretty good game. He threw that last pick. They probably just don't want his confidence shaken up. And now Shanley's got an uncovered receiver right now. But they won't recognize that. They'll just do the handoff anyway. And on the carry that time for Shanley, it was Carson Dean.
even with those second strings in, they're still getting a really good push up front.
On the carry for the Deacons.
So about 3 minutes left to go here in this third quarter. Run from Dean was good for not much there. About 2 or 3 yards, though. And so here's a little screen pass, bubble screen out to Collins, and that goes nowhere. So Grafton continues to have very good success. And, you know, this is a lot of reserves for Shanley, but there's still some numbers out there that you'll see playing in some big situations. Byswinger is out there, and a couple other, mostly on the line, it's a couple guys who you might see in some, real game situations for the Deacons. So they're not exactly playing the JV.
No, they're not for sure. Byswinger is going to be a varsity reserve. It's good to get him some playing time for him being new to the program.
Collins as well is another one of those guys who will play some varsity minutes. Also, Kochman, like we talked about, a really good player who's just unfortunate depth chart-wise, is Cooper Mattern. Huge chunky yards there. That's about 20 yards. What a great run there from Mattern.
Yeah, another large hole by the offensive line. Grafton's got to do something to make those holes smaller.
And yeah, holy cow, I mean, he is barely touched there. I mean, he's not really touched until Suda comes in there. He combined that time with Carter Lopez to get the tackle. And good speed there, too, from Mattern. Good acceleration. Shanley looking to get something going on offense here after a big play, but we got a flag and a false start going against the Deacons. This reserve offense having a little trouble. They've had some good big plays, but a couple mistakes like we just saw.
And that's to be expected. They're going to have a little nerves coming into a varsity game. For some of them, it could be their first time playing.
Yeah, that's the beauty of doing this, of putting these guys in. You can get these mistakes out of their systems before they have to play minutes, that are more important than this. Doubles formation, Mattern in shotgun. It's a designed QB run, and it goes about a yard or two up the right side.
Rios on the stop for the spoilers.
Rios able to make the tackle that time as we got under a minute left here to go in the third.
And Jed, if you're Shanley here, you just want to run the ball, lower that clock, keep the game progressing.
Yeah, and they've been doing that, Oftentimes we'll see Shanley stick to their usual offense. They keep airing the ball out despite the score. Tonight, though, they're changing it up a bit. And part of that, though, might be a bit of a philosophy change because we talked about, we talked about how good that run game has been. Part of that might just be them saying, let's keep trying these runs. They see themselves as more of a passing team, but as you see right now, they can run the ball pretty darn well as Kochman goes for about 4 or 5 yards.
And it's great to see, like I said earlier, if you can have both passing and running, clicking, you're going to win ball games.
And so the seconds will tick away to end the third quarter as we head into the fourth. And it's that carry by Kochman that takes us out of the third quarter there. And, man, Kochman is one of those guys. I mean, we've talked about him. But I just can't wait for him to be, a full-fledged varsity player because he's got all the tools, especially to be like a workhorse-type running back. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. I think he's just one of those guys that everybody's just kind of itching to see get out on the field.
Yeah, I agree. I think before the end of the season, you're going to see him getting more and more reps as the games go on.
For sure. I think he's one of those players who just kind of forces his way on there. We talked about how strong the Deacons are at the positions he plays, but sometimes you got a guy who's good enough where it's like, okay, we got to find a way to get him out on the field. It's the same deal, with Busick and the quarterback situation. Kuhneman right now appears to be kind of their number one, but they've looked at that situation and said, Busick's too good not to have out there, so they're putting him in at running back where he's obviously been really effective.
And I think that's great that they have both out there because not only do they have that running back / quarterback, but they also have the wide receivers that can catch the ball too outside.
For sure. And so now we've got the doubles formation look. Beginning the fourth quarter, Mattern in shotgun at quarterback. They are going right back to those QB runs as Mattern goes up almost to the first down marker. Not quite, maybe.
Rios on the stop for the spoilers.
And they will give them the first down. They had that 4th down marker ready to go, but it looks like the ball got there just by a little bit. A lot of QB runs here, Braden, and I don't know, maybe you can give more insight. Is that Coach Mattern just kind of reaching into his playbook a bit more, trying these out? You know, we saw Kuhnman do a lot of them, or is that catering to Cooper Mattern's skill set?
I think they're just doing what's working, and the quarterback running right now, it's working really well.
Right,
you know, Mattern, we haven't seen a ton of him, but I think he's maybe more of a guy, maybe more known for his arm than his running ability. But I gotta say, he's looked really good out there running.
Yeah, you can tell he's put a lot of work in this offseason to get faster, to get stronger, and it's paying off so far.
Well, and I was gonna say, it seems like he's dropped some weight from last season too. Obviously, he was never overweight, but some of those guys, you know, they can shed some of those pounds, put on more muscle in the summer, and Mattern feels like one of those guys. As you see him take off once again, good for another chunk, 12, 15 yards.
Just that second acceleration there, you just can't stop that.
And again, though, you know, for every good run, there's even better blocking by the line, you know. And I think that's what we're seeing here, too. This reserve line has been really impressive. Obviously, the varsity line as well. But Shanley, I think, has always prided themselves on being really strong at the point of attack, and this season appears to be no different. This appears to be one of the better groups they've put together.
And that's great to see for your second strings, because then in the next years to come, you're still going to have that
for sure.
Strength. And
seems like that tradition will carry on. Trips right, flanker left, but the play won't get run as Shanley will call a timeout. Clearly Mattern not liking what he saw there. There appeared to be some confusion.
Yeah, definitely confusion on what the formation was for them.
And that's to be expected when you've got these reserves in. You know, we've talked about it a lot, but guys aren't, you know, as familiar with the playbook, not as familiar with the in-game situations, but you hear it a lot. You can't replicate these in-game reps. You know, you can try as hard as you want at practice, but nothing compares to a real game situation. You know, I mean, for every one play they run out here, it's like running 10 plays in practice. It's just so different.
Yeah, you really need to take advantage of those game reps when you get them. So if you're only going to get 3 a game, you got to go hard on all 3 of those plays.
So, fresh off the timeout, Deacons have a first down to work with. They've been moving the ball very well. Same formation, but flipped. It's trips left flanker right. Mattern in shotgun. Mattern hands it off to Kochman. Kochman with space, stiff arm, working his way forward, making men miss. Carter Kochman down around the 17-yard line.
Kochman on the carry. First down, Deacons.
Man, Kochman just runs. He just runs well beyond his years, looking at the moves he makes and the vision he has.
Yeah, he sees those holes, he hits them hard, and then he tries to get a defender to miss, and who knows, could break one.
Certainly feels like he has that potential, as now we've got 9:25 left to go here in the fourth quarter. And it's Mattern up the middle for a gain of about 3 or 4.
And Grafton sniffed that play out really well, but Cooper still was able to get back close to the line of scrimmage, if not a yard.
Yeah, again, I've just been really impressed with Mattern as a runner. And, you know, maybe it's my own fault for not realizing he was the runner he's shown he is tonight. But, yeah, that's been really good. That's a good sign, too, considering that Busick and Kuhnman are both seniors, knowing that Shanley's going to need a new quarterback next year, moving up to AAA, which will make the job even harder, as Mattern now takes off to his left and will get into the end zone for a touchdown.
That's great confidence when you know in the coming years you're going to have that guy that will be able to step up and take over the team.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you think about it, it's a pretty big senior class for these Deacons. Again, their first and second string quarterbacks, not even really first and second string, kind of 1A and 1B right now. Those quarterbacks are both seniors, and so you know that they're going to need someone for that really difficult AAA transition. So, yeah, that's good to see. He's going to have a tough first year starting. I think everyone knows that. I think he knows that, but clearly up to the task.
Yeah, he's definitely up for the task. He's very excited to get going in that AAA.
And an update from AA ball, that St. Mary's score will go final, but not before Valley City gets a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So St. Mary's walks away with the 35-8 victory over the Highliners. Mattern will hand off to Gores. Gores, look at this speed. Holy cow. Gores just a blaze across the field. My gosh.
He's only a freshman. That's great speed for a freshman there.
Gores not a very big guy. You can see on the on this close-up shot, but oh man, John Gores, he's listed at 5'4", 130, but I tell you, it doesn't really matter how small you are when you can move like that.
Yeah, if you have that speed, you can be any size and still score touchdowns.
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere. 43-0 now after the 2-point conversion from John Gores, and the Deacons will now kick off as Grafton looks to build upon the success they had. In that last possession, they looked the best they have all game. They couldn't get those points. They just missed the field goal, but they continue to improve.
And if you're Grafton here, you want to get points on the scoreboard for the end of this game to boost your confidence going into that next game.
Yeah, you just got to try and it would really not be fun to start the season off with back-to-back shutouts. That said, can you really think of a tougher two teams to start your year off than St. Mary's, the defending state champs, and Shanley, the state runners-up from last year?
No, you can't. You're playing the two best teams in 2A football right
Literally
now.
by definition,
Yes.
yeah, from last year. And in the poll as well, St. Mary's ranked 1 and Shanley ranked 2. And, a muffed return on the kickoff. It's still loose. Oh, boy. Grafton somehow got back on top of it, though. Nobody could grab that ball for the Deacons. And that was number 65. That was Espinoza. We saw him shaken up earlier, starting lineman for Grafton. Yeah, you may remember him. He went down with an injury earlier, but came back on the field. So huge heads-up play there by Julio Espinoza. .7:33 and counting now on the clock, as Grafton will come to the line. Three men out to the right, Albright in shotgun. Albright takes the snap. He's got some time. Rolling out to his right. He's got a man. Complete for a first down. Reyes is back out there at the running back position, which is a good sign for Grafton.
It looks like Espinoza's a little shaken up. Just kind of stretched the quads out a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that. He went down earlier. You can see Matt Fettner there wraps him up, and it's a good job there by Lopez to escape and get the extra yardage for the first down. Three men out to the left this time. Albright's got pressure in his face. Good job stepping away from it. Almost completed Del Sarif. Did he actually haul that in?
I don't believe he did.
Okay, yeah. I thought I saw a signal there for a second. I was going to say that'd be one heck of a grab.
Yeah, yes, it would be.
He did get his hands on it, but couldn't quite corral it. And El Sarif definitely been one of Grafton's better players. Certainly been their best option as a receiver.
For sure.
A little over 6 minutes left, and we've got a final score from that Jamestown game. They defeat Watford City 46-6. And man, Jamestown, they lost to Shanley by just 1 point. They are looking like a really strong team. Between what Central Cass has been doing to Devil's Lake, what Jamestown's done, what St. Mary's done, it looks like we've got 4 pretty clear-cut top teams. As that ball, oh man, Matt Fettner there almost had it and just bounces off the chest. That's a tough break there.
Yeah, it is. And going back to what you previously said, 2A, there's going to be a battle to who gets to the playoffs and can pull away and win that championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, that Jamestown game really could have gone either way. St. Mary's hasn't really had a test yet. You know, they played Grafton and Valley City. Neither team expected to be overly competitive this year. Jamestown obviously almost beating Shanley. Central Cass beating up on Wahpeton, and now Devil's Lake, who was supposed to be, I think Devil's Lake was ranked a spot ahead of them in the poll. If not, I know that they were right next to each other, so obviously they were expected to be very evenly matched. So, man, it's looking like a fun year in Double-A as Albright lets this one rip down to Suda. Oh, boy. Suda had it for a second. It was through the fingertips. And you just got to feel for him. Matt Suda has had such a good game defensively. He played the toughest assignment all night against Haley Buckles before he went down with an injury. Suda almost hit a long-range 33-yard field goal, almost pulls in the long grab. It's just been a tough game for him. He's had a lot of good moments and a lot that are just so close.
Yeah, and sometimes the luck just isn't on your side, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, that's certainly been the case for Grafton here tonight. A good deep ball by Albright, maybe a shade too far in front, but still encouraging sign. Albright in shotgun, flanked by running back on either side. El Sarif goes in motion. Albright looking downfield. Visser putting the pressure on. Good block, though, by Ide. Albright continues to extend the play. He's going to have to do something. Oh, man, and he slips and falls. And that's a tough break. Albright was running around there playing keep away with that football. And it looked like he was going to evade capture, heave one up, and then he just slips on the field turf.
Yeah, it was kind of an unfortunate break there. But I don't think he really would have had another option if he didn't slip.
Yeah, I mean, he probably would have had to throw it away and honestly probably pick up an intentional grounding or something along those lines. Impressive job extending the play with his legs, though.
Yeah, that was impressive. And we've already seen a couple of those intentional groundings.
Right. 3:51 left as there's some sort of conference happening on the field right now between the referees. And it looks like a turnover on downs there for Grafton.
I believe they also called a penalty on the play. I didn't get a good look at what it was.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. It was obviously a bit of a funny play as Albright slipped and fell, and then it was a turnover on downs, obviously, and now the ball has been moved up inside the 10 for a penalty that, our apologies, folks, we're not quite sure what it was. Nonetheless, here we are as that handoff is going nowhere. In at quarterback, though, now is Bennett Bird, and he is a bit of a legacy on the Shanley football team as he has been preceded by brother Matt Bird, who you may remember tore it up on the turf is one way to put it in his 2 years where we covered him on Shanley TV. Matt Bird really was a huge member of the Shanley football team, whether it was at quarterback or running back. And then a few years before that, before we were broadcasting, it was his older brother Zach Bird, who was an all-state linebacker and fullback. And so Bennett Bird certainly comes from a good bloodline.
Yeah, there's a lot of expectations on him, but I think he's going to handle and overcome the adversity.
For sure, as Bird hands off to Jaden Ort on that carry. And Ort, there's another guy who I think we'll be hearing his name a lot. Maybe not this year as he's only a freshman, but in a few years I think that's a name you're going to come to know.
Especially in a couple years, he's going to be one of the better running backs for Shanley, and his size is just incredible.
Right, he's not an overly tall guy, but he's one of those guys that's so compact. He's so strong. He holds a bunch of weightlifting records back from his 7th and 8th grade days. Obviously, he's just a freshman, so I think we might have some weightlifting records in his future here at Shanley. But coupled with that is his speed. He's got blazing speed from everything I've heard out of practice, and so yeah, Ort's got a bright future ahead of him, it looks like. As Bird will fake the handoff on the QB keeper. Bennett Bird moving forward. Looks like he'll be stopped just short. A nice carry there by the freshman. And for those of you who remember Matt Bird, if that were Matt Bird in that scenario, I think those 6 Grafton defenders would be laying on their backs in the end zone, if you remember.
Matt Bird would have ran him over anyway. He's not going to stop because people are in his way.
Well, and obviously that was Matt Bird as the junior and senior. Nothing against Bennett here. He's got a lot of years to pick up that Bird mentality.
It's just going to take some experience.
Obviously, just the physical aspect of it, but yeah, no, that's a fun name to talk about and reminisce about in Shanley football. As now Bird is in shotgun, 4th and goal. They're right at the 1-yard line. Bird finds a man wide open, and that is good for a touchdown. Just able to curl it in there that time. And we'll see on the replay if we can get a look at that number. And that looks to be 18, maybe? Yeah, that is 18 for the Deacons.
18's Isaac Emineth, Jed.
All right, so Isaac Emineth. Nice little touchdown grab for him. Good throw by Bird, and that makes it 49-0 Deacons. And they're headed out there for a 2-point try.
And that's just fun to see, getting those younger guys a touchdown, some varsity experience.
No doubt.
Most of them are being freshmen, too, on the field
Right,
now.
we've already seen the JV come out for Shanley. Now we've got the freshmen as that 2-point conversion's going nowhere. Well played by Grafton.
2-point conversion.
So less than a minute left in regulation. 48 seconds left to go here. Likely see those run out here on the next Grafton possession. And we'll get this one in the books. And Braden, just kind of looking ahead here, Shanley's next home game going to be against Watford City, Grafton. Meanwhile, I don't think we'll see him crack the scoreboard here tonight, but certainly that's something they're going to work on going forward. Just what do you kind of see for these two teams now, rest of the season?
For Shanley, they just got to keep up that high-tempo offense because in the near future, I don't see a team that's going to be able to stop that.
Yeah.
And for Grafton, I think it's just about homework, looking at their film, getting their assignments they missed. They're going to be okay in the future.
For sure. Shanley's already arguably played the best defense in AA in Jamestown, and they put up a lot of big plays on them, scored 4 touchdowns. And, yeah, like you said, it's going to be tough to stop that high-tempo offense, as now Jaden Ort, kind of the Swiss Army knife of this football team, is the kicker now. And on that kickoff, he's able to get it down inside the 20, as we got a nice return out to about the 30. And on the return that time, it was Liam Perez. Nice little run back there from Perez. And, Ort, you saw there on the kickoff. He's being used as a running back right now, but I tell you what, with his strength, he could easily slide into an interior line position. Maybe not with his height, but, with his height, he could easily play guard or center. Maybe not tackle, but...
He's one of those guys that's just an athlete, and you can
Right.
put him wherever, and he's going to perform just fine.
I mean, you could put him out at receiver, honestly, with his speed, and, boy, he seems like he'll be one heck of a defensive lineman or linebacker, wherever they choose to use him. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be great to watch.
So Grafton will come out here now with 35 seconds left running off the clock. And we'll see they might just kneel it down here. They've got the full house formation behind. Albright's going to take it, and he'll kneel, and that will do it as the clock's going to run out. So Shanley kicks off their first game at home. They kick off their first game on Shanley TV with a big win, 49-0 over Grafton. Really not much more here we can say, Braden. I mean, that game kind of spoke for itself, but do you just have any final thoughts?
No, I really liked how Shanley came out and played the whole game, did not take one snap off at all.
Yeah, and it was only 7-0 after that first quarter, so that kind of puts into perspective how explosive that second quarter was for them, as they put up 4 touchdowns there in the second quarter, tacked on a couple more here in the third and the fourth. It really goes to show Shanley really only needs about one quarter, about 12 minutes to kind of blow you away.
Yeah, it only takes a couple plays, then they can have 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. It's just great to watch. It's fun football.
Yeah, so that's kind of been the case all around the state here in AA tonight. The Deacons with a blowout victory, 49-0. St. Mary's with a huge win over Valley City in a blowout. Central Cass was blown out Devil's Lake. Jamestown wiping away Watford City. So it looks like we got about 4 clear-cut big teams. We're going to be watching them going forward. Looks like we got a fun year ahead of us, Braden.
It's going to be great.
For tonight, though, for Braden Altringer and for our entire crew, I'm Jed Thomas. Your final score from Fargo: Shanley Deacons 49, Grafton Spoilers 0. To watch the archived version of this entire game and our other broadcasts, go to ShanleyTV.com. The proceeding has been a presentation of Shanley TV.